So you're considering buying a house and you may be close or in retirement and you're not sure if this is something that you should do. More than likely, you've been renting all of your life and you want to buy a house, but don't want to take the financial risk of buying a property for the first time in retirement. Well, this video is going to hopefully encourage you to at least think about buying your first home in retirement. I'm Shaheedah Hill, getting you over the hill to home ownership and helping you confidently buy your first home. So first, both of my parents are retired and they both did it a little bit different. Like my mom bought a house, a new house. She sold her first house and she bought a new house in retirement. My dad went to like a senior community where he was renting. So I'm going to talk about both and why I think it really makes sense to buy a house in retirement. Now, my parents are divorced. So if you can stay married in retirement, you'll have more money. But this is just, some things for you to think about if you're considering this. So number one, there's no age discrimination. So lenders cannot discriminate against you based on your age. For example, you're 90 years old, you apply for a mortgage. They can't say, hey, you're 90 years old, you can't get a 30-year mortgage because we don't think that you're going to live to 120. That's age discrimination and they can't do that. So if you qualify for a mortgage, regardless of your age, they will give you that mortgage. And so you'll find a lot of, some seniors, they co-sign for their grandchildren. They do things like that because they can still do that if they already own a home. All right. So there's no age discrimination. Number two is lenders really like you because your income is stable. Where you have, people that are working, they may lose their job. They may not, they may change jobs. Their income might go up. Their income might go down. Where if you're in retirement, you'll probably have a stable income. It may be fixed, but of course it's stable, whether it's Social Security, your pension, your retirement account disbursements. Everything is typically really stable. So lenders like you and they cannot discriminate against you. Now, here are a few reasons why I think you should consider buying a home in retirement. And so number one is just location sometimes. I had a lot of clients that lived in high cost states and they worked for 20, 30 years in these states and they could never afford to purchase a home in the state that they worked in. So in retirement, they're moving to the Midwest, they're moving to the South because now they can afford to buy a house on the pensions that a lot of them have, the pensions or the retirement accounts a lot of them have from their more, the jobs paid them more because they were in a high income state. So to come down to a southern state or a Midwest state, that money is going to go a lot farther. So if you're in that situation, instead of retiring in the state that you live in, especially if it's a high cost state, California, Illinois, New York, if you are coming from any of those places and you may want to consider moving to a much more cost efficient place for retirement. Number two, you want to stabilize your expenses in retirement. This is not the time for your rent to go up year after year. As many of like traditional, like private landlords, traditional apartment complexes, unless you're in a subsidized situation, then that rent is going to go up, and it doesn't always go up at the rate of inflation. It might go up much higher than the rate of inflation. Housing went up significantly over the pandemic, where a lot of seniors could no longer afford where they were living. So you want to make sure that you are taking control, and home ownership will allow you to take control and know, okay, this is going to be what my monthly payment is going to be. If you get a fixed interest rate, your principal and interest will not change. The only thing that could change is your taxes and your insurance. And we're going to talk about that and how you could kind of plan for those changes. But, your principal and interest are going to be fixed and they're going to be stable. So you'll know month to month how much you're going to have to pay for this house. And in retirement, a lot of you probably don't need a big place, right? You need something that's going to be manageable for you. You don't want so much to take care of. So you don't have to go like way over your budget. You really can be really conservative in the budget that you choose for your retirement home. It's not, you need to raise your children in this house, you need a huge yard. You could really do a lot with a lower square footage. Now let's talk about taxes and insurance because I almost slipped it out before. So you want to prioritize moving to an area, be it a state, a county, a city, that either discounts property taxes for seniors or they eliminate them altogether, or at least the school tax, because many jurisdictions or municipalities will freeze taxes so they won't go up over time, or they will eliminate the school tax for seniors. Now, this age may change. Where I live, it starts at 62 years old. 62 years old and older, you do not pay the school tax, which is a significant part of the property tax. So that's saving seniors in my community a lot of money. They're not paying the same as everybody else is paying for their taxes, and it allows them to plan and not have their taxes go up significantly. Now, where my mom lives, she lives in a different county than me. They do discount taxes and they also freeze them depending on the age. As you age, you get a bigger and bigger discount, but it also freezes the taxes at a certain age. So you are, almost guaranteed not to have an increase. The only thing that, of course, could increase is the home value over time, and your taxes may increase. But hopefully, at that point, it's at the rate of inflation. So some of your investments and your either pension or Social Security are going to get those cost of living increases anyway. So definitely don't just move. Before you move, you need to figure out that tax situation in the place that you're moving to. And multi-generational living. Let's talk about this for a second, because in this time of very high housing costs, you probably have either children or grandchildren that may be like really struggling to pay some of their rent. If they have children, they may be struggling even more with childcare and that sort of thing. And I'm not saying that you want to be a babysitter or anything like that, but I do have, I have some parents that, once they retired, they bought even a bigger house so they can move their children in with them. Some of them, was a married couple, and the married couple and their kids moved in with the mom. And then some of them were single. So it really just depends on your family dynamic. If this is something as a family you all can discuss, and maybe you take the mortgage out, you buy a house that's a little bit bigger that can accommodate some of either children or grandchildren, and then they help you not pay your mortgage. If you do it this way, so say your mortgage is $1,500, say it's $2,000, and they're willing to pay $1,000 every month. Instead of saving that $1,000, if you can afford the $2,000 comfortably, you can put that $1,000 towards your principal and get that mortgage paid off even faster. So that could be something that, in your estate plan is either left to your children, grandchildren, that sort of thing, because it's going to be paid off significantly faster because you're putting that money toward the principal. And I'm just making sure there's no other points I want to make. And that's just something I want at least, I know like my mom, she's like, I travel, I do this, I do that. But sometimes in retirement, you do want to be closer to family. And, that could be an option. We have I think it's like 1 in every 4 children are in single family households in America. So this could be a way that, some of our, we help each other intergenerationally, especially in this more expensive time. All right, I think that is everything that I wanted to say. If you have any questions, I want you to put questions in the comments, and I really want you to at least consider, right? Buying your home, and it could be your first home in retirement. You may qualify for down payment assistance because it's still, your first home that you're buying. You don't currently own a home, and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. I do have a master class, a first-time home buyers master class, and I'll have that link below as well. Thank you so much.